find out anyway. Good afternoon, everybody, in the US and the UK, and good evening in Australia. This is myself and Tina. Hello, Tina.
Hello.
And our special guest today is RJ. Hello, RJ.
Hello, Stephen. I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me on.
Our pleasure. And we always love talking about messenger bots, and we can't think of a better person to actually explain it in English so that we can understand it. Right, okay. Now, there are several systems out there, two of which are ChatFuel and ManyChat. Can you sort of describe the difference between the two and which you favor?
Yeah, absolutely. So the one that I do my main work with is ManyChat. It seems to be, because I do a lot of collaborative work with my customers. So I will write a sequence and they will go in and edit it, or vice versa. I need a really super user-friendly interface. And so that to me is what ManyChat provides over ChatFuel. But ChatFuel has some things that you can do, especially, you know, kind of around payments and stuff within Facebook Messenger. They have the power. They have a bigger engine sometimes with their features. There's more that you can do. For me, I'll take the interface over. I'll take form over function because I build along with my customers. But that's kind of real basic overview of, you know, ChatFuel versus ManyChat. ChatFuel function all day. ManyChat is more of a form, and that's kind of the factor that I've landed upon.
Now you have a course about ManyChat, which has been taken by Tina.
Yes.
So can we talk about the course?
Sure. If you want me to say something about it first, or you want RJ to talk?
Go right ahead, Tina. I would love to hear your perspective.
Now, I like that. First of all, you just have this really calming voice, and it's fun. So it's easy to follow. If you're a novice, complete novice, and have no idea from the very beginning what you're getting into, she starts from there. So you don't have to know anything going into it, which is great because, you know, I'm tech savvy. I hadn't really gone down this rabbit trail. So it was good to have that from the beginning. And I think what RJ does best is the sequencing, which is really the heart of the whole thing. So how you are going to connect and communicate with your client, essentially that's who you're trying to reach, needs to have the right tone for your business. Now, what RJ does for hers is more lighthearted and fun. My industry, that doesn't work. But for this course, it works perfectly because I'm having fun while I'm learning, which, I mean, you can't beat that, right? So it's really informative. It's easy to follow. It's very thorough. So, and it's affordable, which is really important. So.
Yeah, well, that's great feedback. Well, and I think I recorded most of that class back in July when I ran into bots, because it was like, oh, people are going to want to know about this, because ManyChat is a very visual interface, and that's great stuff, but it's not always intuitive, like where to find stuff. And what things actually mean. So when I I built a course. I wanted to do soup to nuts, A to Z, beginning to end. What is everything you could possibly know about the features of ManyChat, but not just the features of ManyChat, what the Facebook terms of service are, how to stay within that stuff, how to make and how to write and design a bot that connects with people and has a real conversation. I talk to so many people who have run into, there are bots out there that are just a sales pitch. That's not going to work. So I want to teach people how to do it right out of the gate so that they are A, getting results out of the gate, and B, not stepping on Zuckerberg's toes, because that's not a good thing to do. They will get you.
The penalties are quite drastic, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, Facebook is they're very specific about what they want you to do and what they don't want you to do. And, at this point, they have suspended people's accounts, but those are people who are treating it like a Groupon. Like, they are sending out a subscription every single day to every single person with something for sale. Absolutely against the rules. So at this point, you have to be really blatantly, violating the rules to get your account suspended. But right now, what's interesting to me is that obviously Facebook is going to be changing in the future how they do things. At one point, we may have to pay for this service, which is totally great, I think. I'm willing to pay for it. From what I'm getting out of it, it's an absolutely great investment. But, as Facebook changes, I want people to be able to adjust as well. So that's one of the main things, too.
Well, and that's one of the reasons to get on board now. I mean, you've got the opportunity for as long as it lasts to use this platform for free. And I can totally see it going to a paid thing. I mean, it's essentially email marketing. And if you use any email marketing at all, then you're paying usually based on the number of subscribers that you have. And so I can see it going there. So take advantage of it now. And if you keep in mind what Zuckerberg has said about wanting Facebook to be a place where meaningful conversation takes place, he means that in Messenger too, but probably more so in Messenger. So just keep that in mind and don't be sending out those 5,000 cell Groupon things every day. That's not what this is for.
Right. So in other words, common sense is required.
Common sense on the internet. Stephen, these are
quotes for that.
Yeah, but it is. I mean, it is common sense not to spam people, not to market every day of the week. But it's a great way to reach people, isn't it? Because the response rates on messengers, Facebook Messenger, are far in excess of anything we've seen for a while.
It's true, and it's the response rates, and that is happening because people have developed a relationship with that icon. People know when when you get your special ding that somebody in Messenger wants to talk to you, they've built a relationship with that icon over the years. They trust that it's an important message. And so that's why you're getting the kind of open rates that you see. There will probably be some abuse of the platform. There will probably be some accounts shut down. A little bit of that trust might go away, but that trust has been built over years of time. And that's why you're getting the really nice open and click-through rate, because people are really, if they click, they really are interested. What I see as even more of a bonus, and I like the analogy that we're using. I like the analogy that this is really it's a different form. It's kind of a cousin. It's kind of a third cousin to email, basically, because you have the same kinds of sequences and you have the same kind of, well, if this person has been through this, then I don't want them to go down this path. I want them to go down this path. That's the kind of thing that people do, in email systems and all of that stuff too. But here's the difference. Here's the main fork in the road between this and email. I gather so little information through an email. I really do. I mean, even if it's one of my heartfelt, I'm going to tell, it's RJ story time. That's what I call it. I don't write my list very often, honestly. But when I do, I'm writing something that's important to me. And so even with those, and people do hit reply to me, I still am not gathering very much information about who that person is, what they're thinking right now, what their preferences are, what they already know. I can get all of that in a bot. I can do it painlessly.
Well, that's because of our programming. We've been programmed to use Messenger to talk to our friends and the people we care about. And so when we get on there, we're conversational. When you have an email, even if you do take the time to hit reply, which most of us don't, it's formal. You're formal in an email because that's what we've been trained to do. We don't talk conversationally in an email. We do that in Messenger, and I think that's the reason that you can get so much more information if your bot has a personality. If your bot is like an email, you're going to get the same kind of response from that bot as you get from your email. And so that's one of the things, like I said, that RJ does really well is that her bots have personality. And I know that she tells her clients to infuse their company personality into their bot that they're using. And so if you don't do that, if you're just taking your email sequence and copying and pasting it into a bot, you're doing it wrong.
There's a reason you're not getting a response to that message.
You're probably still getting a better response than you do on email.
Well, probably, because Messenger is so new.
You're not making the most of the platform.
Listen, if you are giving people a wall of text in your bot that can be seen from space, stop what you're doing. Stop it now. That is, I understand the inclination because people are saying it's just like email. It's just like email. It's just like email in how it's organized and structured. It is entirely different from email in the way that it's written and designed. If that makes sense.
It goes to the same people. Sorry, Stephen, go ahead.
No.
I was going to say it's like people who manage social media accounts. If they copy and paste the same thing from Facebook over to Twitter, over to LinkedIn, that doesn't work. It's a different platform, and people communicate differently within those platforms. And so you have to remember that when you create your bot. Definitely needs to be shorter chunks of text. And RJ knows from her research, and now bots are new, but you've been doing this for a while now. You know that images and GIFs and emoticons make a difference in whether or not people make a selection of something and respond.
See what happens. We'll stick with this. I've just been sharing it out to everybody and on my mobile.
Oh, I don't even see RJ on the output side.
Sorry?
On where it shows us the stream output, RJ is missing. See, we're live again. I see us live on the page, but RJ is missing.
Okay, that's just, yeah, I've got the live video. And, right, hello people. This is live video. This is fun. And Tina and I can see RJ. RJ can see us. But unfortunately, you can't. So
RJ is going to have to
short break. RJ, could you go out and come back in again, please? Okay. I knew it'd be a miracle if. Oh dear. At least we've gone back live to the same place.
We have. Yeah. Thank you, Vincent and John, for letting us know that we're back. Okay. Yes, the joys of live streaming, Robert says. Well, LIghtstream did an update. Of course, the last time we came on, they did an update right before we came on. That always seems to throw a loop in things.
They surely did, and I'm just going to, hopefully, if you want to go and grab a cup of tea, then you can.
RJ is back for me, but I still don't see her on the stream output.
Well, I'm just hoping that, fingers crossed, we've got our fingers crossed. And in a second or two, hopefully you'll be able to see RJ again.
I think so. I can finally see her in the stream output. So
good. Hello again, RJ. No.
Hello.
All right, I'm going to send to live. Right. Okay. Now, as Tina was saying, LIGHTstream did an update this afternoon. They did come back on time, so kudos for that. But I think there's a discussion between Facebook and LIGHTstream, and Facebook said, "Nah, don't want you for now. Come back in 2 minutes." And I think that's what happened, because we're able to go back to exactly the same show. Mm-hmm. So that's good. So
yeah, everyone can see all three of us now.
Yep. Does anybody? Right, we're talking about a comparison with email. I think I just want to go with that for a moment. Insofar as if you send somebody an email, you send them an email, they see it, and they decide to look at it later because they've just seen the title and it's not important. They're going to come back to you tomorrow and reply tomorrow. So what happens is that it takes place, an exchange takes place over a course of days, potentially. Whereas with Messenger, we've been conditioned, as Tina said, to actually, if we get a message, to do something about it there and then. So what happens is that if you send a message out and it's good, well, we'll come on to message content in a moment, but people will see it and they will react to it and they'll reply, and you can get a conversation going in real time, and you can't do that with email. And the other thing is I sent out a message, well, I sent out a broadcast yesterday, and the broadcast said, we are Be Live in 5, we'd like to help you. And within minutes, I had responses, actual words written, and I had to sort of run to actually catch up with several conversations going on at the same time. That'll teach me.
Yeah.
You know, bots are great for automation, but you have to remember that people will, at some point, may want to talk to an actual human being, and so you have to monitor that and be ready to hop on and answer those questions. And don't treat it like people. Some businesses treat Messenger. I sent a message to a company, and almost a year later, I got a response. Now, do you think I bought anything from them, or I found what I needed somewhere else? So, I mean, if you're using this technology, don't just automate. You can set it and forget it in a lot of ways, but you still have to monitor and make sure that you're paying attention when someone asks to speak to a human, and go and be that human, be there and answer that question. And you also have to, for Facebook, and I noticed a lot of people don't do this because I sign up for bots just because I'm trying to learn all I can and see how people are using them. A lot of people are not giving you your opt-in and opt-out.
Really? Oh, that's not good.
Yeah. And they'll disappear because Facebook says you have to do that.
Well, and about the automation part and about the picking it up on the other end and having a human conversation part, the automation part of this is how the messages are served. That's the only part that should be automatic. I work with a lot of one-on-one clients, and what I tell them is what you want out of this, your total aim for this, is to start a conversation with somebody that, is a qualified client. You can teach your bot to qualify clients, super easy to do. And then take that conversation you're having in the bot and make it a live one-on-one, whether that's meeting for coffee if you're in the same town, or most of the time I'm meeting with people through video conference or whatever. The aim of the bot for me is to take it out and have a one-on-one conversation, however that needs to happen, because that is what is going to build my circle of collaborators, friends, clients, whatever bucket you fall into. That's what's going to build that for me, and that's what's going to build my business. I use it that way. It's been very successful, and that's how I teach other people to do it, because set it and forget it, I think those days might be over for Facebook.
Well, case to point, lesson hard learned. Basically, we do 2 shows a week. Well, we do 5 shows a week, but we only send messengers out, broadcasts out for 2 of them, because we thought I thought that would be right. And it's worked pretty well, and people are actually reading it, and people are clicking through and actually coming to watch the show. But I recently had somebody unsubscribe. Now, apart from the shock of that happening, which is always a good thing to be pulled up, I thought, well, let's just look back at what the chat actually was, and it wasn't a chat. I'd been broadcasting continuously 2 shows a week, and they'd been reading them, but they got fed up because I wasn't talking to them. So lesson learned.
Well, and that's one of the beautiful things about the bots, and this is true also for email marketing, since we were talking about that. you can see where you're losing people. And that tells you something's wrong. So you have to do a little investigation. And sometimes that means following up with the people and asking them, what made you decide to leave, and try to fix the problem. So it gives you a lot of information, a lot of insights that you can use to make what you're doing better. First spot's probably not going to be great. It's just a learning opportunity. To figure it out. It'd be better if you use RJ's course, but your first spot is a learning experience for sure. I've done some of the simple things, the keyword bots and those kind of things that to me is not even really a bot because it's just a trigger, really. But even from those simple things, I've learned, well, this doesn't work. If you're giving away a white paper, for example, and you say type white paper in the comments, nobody does that. But if you come up with a fun phrase from the type in, like boom, or I want it, it's mine, I gotta have it, something like that, they're more likely to type that in than white paper because that's boring and who really wants it. So there's a lot to be learned just from playing around with these.
There is, and I'm going to put my hand up here and say that if I'd received what I've been sending out from somebody else, I would have been subscribed a few weeks ago. So lesson learned.
Well, and Stephen, I love your bot. I love that you send an audio clip and a little video clip. This is your kind of Be Live in 5 instruction series. Love that you give them a choice as to how folks want to interact. And I love, hey, if you want to see this in video, click through to YouTube. Perfect. Of course I want to see what's on that thing. So leading people, driving traffic over to YouTube as well. Perfect. I've been teaching people how to do that now because I saw you doing it.
Oh, thank you. Wow.
Why do we do the stuff that we hate ourselves? As marketers, we get stuff we hate. The perfect example for Messenger is I personally hate when people send me and 500 of their friends a message that says, blah, 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 blah. If you don't do this, you're going to have bad luck. Or something like don't send me that crap. But then, we create a marketing message that's essentially the same kind of crap, and then we send it out to everybody. So we should think about if you don't like getting something, whether it's in email, I don't care what kind of marketing campaign it is, if it's television, email, snail mail, messenger bot, if you don't like it, probably other people don't either. So don't create that kind of thing to send out there. It's not going to do well.
I think, though, as marketers, a lot of times we are taught, this is the formula, this is what you got to do, this is how you got to write it, this is how you got to. And I really want to give people guidelines, but unless you put your personal craft on that, unless you put your personality into it and edit that and craft it yourself, make it the way you talk, it's not going to do well. So for me, why do we create the things that we hate? It's because we're told that that's the only way. This expert over here says these things, and, this is their rags to riches story, and this is, how, and so we are emotionally talked into that, pushed into that, from an I want to win perspective. I want to win. I want to put stuff out there that people read. What I'm getting more and more, though, is that nobody can tell me what's the perfect formula for me. Nobody can do that. I have to get out there and experiment, and I have to find what platform works for me. I can write a conversation any day of the week. You ask me to write an email, though, it'll be out in about 6 months. Good luck. So I found my platform. Bots are an ideal place to experiment with your voice. There is so much information that you get. When you send out a message, the feedback that you get from that message, even just the click-through data, I know what messaging works for me and my particular business because I can experiment endlessly. I can get data back. I can get people talking to me about what they feel about what I've said. I can develop my voice so much more quickly in a messenger bot than I could ever do in an email.
Well, and we talked before coming on, I guess, we were talking about learning to do it yourself as opposed to paying someone to build for you. And to me, one of the most powerful things about bots and just digital marketing in general is that you can change it on a dime. You can go in and tweak it daily if you need to until you hit that sweet spot that's working and converting for you. And if you have to pay someone else to do that, you can't make the changes as often, and it's probably still not going to be in your voice unless you're working with someone that's really paying attention and working hard to make sure that your voice is conveyed and they're not just trying to get you a sequence in place so they can get paid.
Right.
Not to, all of us, I think, do stuff like that where we'll do it for you if you don't have the time, and that's great. But if you're a small business especially and you're still trying to find your footing, I think the do-it-yourself is the best way to go.
It really is. And here's my experience with that. When I first started building bots, I also did the, hand me this amount of money and I will make your bot. I will get your input. I will make, you'll get to make edits, all of those kinds of things, but I'll mostly just do it for you so you can get this thing done. People aren't as involved. When people aren't as involved in the process, when they're removed, they're also removed when you put it out there. And those kinds of bots don't work as well, honestly. And so what I've gone to is this. I have gone to a much more collaboration-centered platform. It's a 50-50 type of deal because I want you to be able to perfect and tweak this thing. And if you do that, this is going to be very, very successful with you. It is going to be very, very successful. When I take on a client, I make them swear two things. Okay. One, I am okay with bleeding edge technology and the fact that sometimes there are glitches and it's going to be okay.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
It's a good one, baby, because stuff changes all the time. We got two platforms we're dealing with, ManyChat and Facebook, and they both have their own brains and their own directions and their own ideas. So things sometimes get a little conked up in the experience. It's okay. The second thing that I make people swear is I have 20 minutes a day and a cup of coffee. I can go through my bot. I can talk to people who need a response. I can look at the messages I'm sending out. I can look at my data. I can do these things. I can check on it like it's a beloved pet every single day. If you do that, you're going to have an incredible experience. You're going to get an incredible response. If you treat it like a live conversation that you're having and treat it like something you care about, you're going to go far with it. No matter where you are right now, you're going to go very far with it. If you treat it like I said it and forget it, don't waste your money. Don't waste your time.
Right, talking of money, as we must, when talking about ManyChat, there is a free version, isn't there? Which you can try out.
Yep.
Yeah. And I mean, that's how both Tina and I started with the Be Live in 5. We started with the free version. And there are things that can do for free, which they should be charging for.
Yeah. I think what they've done is they've gone with that, we're going, they are not charging very much, darlings. And perhaps this will change in the future, but they're charging, the paid version is $10 a month for up to 500 subscribers. That is insane. That is criminally low almost. I certainly won't be complaining, but it is amazing for the use that you get, the kind of growth tools that you get. That's amazing stuff. I am continually shocked, and I'm continually shocked at what they offer for free as well. So yeah, you're right.
I mean, let's just take the elements one by one before we go on to the update. But if I wanted somebody to host my landing page, just a simple landing page with an email opt-in, they would do it, and I get my one page, and they'd charge me a few $100s a month. Whereas, with ManyChat, the story's different, isn't it?
It is different. You can have as many landing pages as you'd like.
Wow.
So many. If you want to, and that's the pro account. That's the $10 a month. But you can have as many landing pages as you'd like. You can tweak the different colors of things. You can tweak the words that you say. Just the kind of things that people do when they're doing a Facebook ad and doing like A/B split testing and stuff like that. So that is all available within the platform. You can't at this point like add a field for email address or anything like that. You can't add any input fields, but you can change, you can change the graphics, you can change the words, you can change all of those things and do kind of a split testing on. Now that won't, it will, and you can put your Facebook pixel on there too. So if you're running Facebook ads, you can, do all the behind the scenes techie, pocket protector, codey type stuff. You can totally do all of that stuff, which is great. But yeah, you can't add a field at this time.
But you don't need to, because if you use your bot correctly, you can gather any information that you want later on in the bot sequence. Including
an email address, which you can then shoot to your, yep. And to me, so this week, I think we're going to talk about the updates here.
Oh, yeah, surely. Oh, yes. Yeah, we should.
There's one update that will allow people, now this thing is, people were real excited about this, and they still are. Like marketers, professional marketers, they're real excited about. There is an opportunity now for people to people will have a little sign up, little name and email address here. You can add a little box that says send a messenger, and it has its little box checked. When you hit the box underneath the original, the put your name and email here, when you hit the submit, you can get people into the bot and on your email list at the same time. And so a lot of people just they're going bonkers about this thing. I am not going bonkers about this thing. Yes, I see the value of being able to sign people up in a way that there's no friction getting people on two lists at the same time. I understand why that's exciting to people. I just want to caution people that holy moly, if you do not have a separate message in your bot and in your email, you're going to lose them. If you are just spamming them, over spamming with information that is the same in both, please do not use that checkbox as a growth tool. Please don't do it. It's going to alienate folks. There is one client that I have, Thomas Wellness Health. He's a guy. He's running a 7-day health and wellness challenge. I've been working with him on his stuff. He has got an email sequence that gives you all of the health and wellness daily, that information through the 7-day challenge. But he's also got in the bot, he's got an accountability sequence. Okay. So you're getting the information through the email, but you're getting something completely different through the bot. Those cases, it's okay if you're adding value with the bot. But if you're just trying to get as many people on your list as humanly possible, it's not. I don't think that it's a good option, honestly. There are probably some who would violently disagree with me, but that's okay. They're not on the show today.
No, they're not on the show. And speaking of not on the show, we're enjoying ourselves as we do every time we get together. And we were going to bring in Vincent. So Vincent, we're going to delay that because Vincent, quick advert, Vincent and I are live tomorrow on YouTube at 1 p.m. Eastern. So that's the shout out done. So we can now go back to where we were. Where were we?
We were talking about, the ManyChat has made a ton of ton of upgrades. This past couple of weeks, they've just been really busy. They must be over-caffeinated over there. And I respect that. I respect over-caffeination, and I support it. Let's just be honest. But they made some changes to the landing page, which are pretty cool. And they also made some changes to the little website, the messenger button that you can put on your website to talk to potential customers now. So that's all really exciting stuff. Those landing pages, you can now, as I said, your Facebook pixel on there, so you can really track who's coming over there from Facebook ads. And then, and also you can kind of put a video behind it and make it a lot more engaging, I think. Know some people who've been doing that. There weren't very many changes that you could make at the beginning, but they've really made it a lot more kind of full-featured. And that's really exciting to me. I like to see that happen. I think their developers have the right stuff in mind. In order to catch people. Have you guys tried any of the new stuff for BLIFBot?
Not yet.
Not yet.
No, not yet. No. Looking forward to doing so. I've got a landing page which I set up using the latest version, but I haven't told anybody about it yet because I'm not happy with it. I think that's one of the things, isn't it? That you only release things when you're happy with them yourself. You've got the time to do that. You can revise it until it looks right. And then you can you can preview it. I love the preview feature because there's nothing worse than actually putting a whole thing together and it looks okay on the flow and everything. And then you press the button, you release it to the world, and it sucks.
And you have to go through the sequence yourself after you have to do that preview, because on paper you think you have everything, and then you hit that preview and you start going through and you get to this point and you're like, oh, well, I didn't give them any options to go to here and here. So to go back and add that in. It's really easy to you don't get the full user experience unless you use it. So you really should use that preview and go through and check out the user experience before you send it out to people. It's easy to miss steps.
Well, let me say this, Stephen Healy. I would love to look at your landing page with you. Please just ping me and we will make it happen. That's
a very kind offer, which I gracefully accept. Brilliant.
I will look at what you have anytime. I have a small group of people that when I make new things, I run it past them, because I think that I think one of two things about my creations. I either think this is going to light up the world like fireworks on a Saturday night, July 4th, or I think this is awful. Most things are actually in between there. So I have a group of people, a small group that I just run things past when I have new stuff. And so I suggest if you're new to building bots, if you're interested in building bots, get your small group ready. Get your small group ready, because Tina's right. Previewing the things yourself, looking at the timings of things, that's all good to do. But here's a problem I ran into with my very first bot. I'm a very fast reader, and I didn't want people to wait too long. So I had every single time delay between the messages as either 2 or 3 seconds.
All right.
Perfect for me. I'm previewing it. I'm like, this is beautiful. Fantastic. People don't have to wait. That's really good, right? No.
Yeah.
People don't read as fast as I do. Plus, I know what that sentence says. I'm only half reading it anyway.
Yeah.
So when I sent it out to my testers, they were all like, RJ, you must read like a speed demon. Please increase the timings. It's really annoying when messages are pushing up and I don't have a chance to read it all. So yeah, getting feedback from your close people. I mean, I don't just run bot stuff by my circle. I run other stuff too. Mm-hmm. Proposals, new shows, new things. So I would be absolutely happy to take a look at your stuff, Stephen, anytime.
And Facebook groups is a great place to start a focus group for yourself. We do it for our content. And for the funeral industry, you'd be surprised at what people think is okay and what people just hate. And we didn't know. When we had some idea, because once we put it out there, we can see obviously what performed well. We have an even better idea now. So some stuff we just don't even bother with because, 95% of the focus group we're like, so we know, and it's really useful. It saves you more time.
Absolutely does. And that's the thing too. I get a lot of folks that, I had one lady one time, I was talking to her about building a bot, and she's like, I want to build a bot because it's not possible to clone myself yet. And, I need it to take the weight off of some of the repetitive things that I answer. And that is that's a really great thing. The repetitive stuff that you answer, having a sequence set up to help somebody understand and to give them also a chance to ask questions. I give people a lot of yes/no paths and opportunities to ask questions in my bot. I want to know what questions you have. I want to know what I went over and it was way too fast and you don't have any idea what I just said. I want to know when that happens. And again, with any other form of marketing, you don't get that kind of feedback with people. You don't know.
Yeah, and the automation, you said the automation should only be in the way that it's delivered.
Yeah.
And I agree with that. I mean, you want to automate some of those questions that are always asked. Sure, automate those. But one of the great things about bots and what I'm looking forward to using it for is I can figure out where people need to enter. So I'm not giving them information they're not interested in, they don't need. So I can find out if what they really need is to connect with a grief counselor, or they need to talk to a pre-need agent, or they have an at-need situation, they need to talk to somebody right now. I can find that out from the bot, and so I'm not inundating them with information they don't need. I'm not trying to figure out where to send them and asking them a million questions. I can find out probably within 3 clicks, okay, this is where I need to send them. I need to send them this information, or I need to connect them with this human being so that, we can help them.
Yeah. And that's what it's really all about, is creating those connections and connecting the dots with our people, so you don't have to ask them a billion questions and you don't have to send them stuff that they don't need. Have you ever signed up for somebody's email list and then gotten 3 of the exact same emails from them every time they send an email?
True. I admit I've signed up for this. I get forgetful occasionally, and I've signed up for the same email with 2 different email addresses, and I get copies twice. It's easy done.
It is, and to me, Facebook has that all sorted out. If you're already subscribed to a certain sequence, it won't subscribe you again. It prevents that so often found in the email stuff. And to me, that is so nice. It is so nice because
it's costly. It costs you money as a company if you have things duplicated. If you're paying to use an email service and you have 5,000 subscribers and 2,000 of those are replicated going to the same person, you're wasting money. And so, right, with the messenger, that's not an issue. So you're only going to be paying for the people that are going to get your message. And I think another thing, some people may not agree, but I think it's great to give the people the option to opt out every time they interact, because if they're not interested in what you're offering, you don't want them there. They don't need to be there. You're not going to convert them, and you're spending money sending a message to someone that is not your target audience.
It's true, and this is also kind of an unpopular view I've found out. But for me, I'd rather have less people that are interested in my bot. I do not want to build a bot that has 80,000 subscribers. How in the hell am I going to connect with 80,000 people? I'm not. So I also give them plenty of outs. And when I'm saying, hey, I got some news about this today. Do you want to hear it? There's a yes, no path. There's always a yes, no, because you know what? I mean, I get it. People need space. I am not the most important thing on their mind. Why would I be? But I want to also I want to also give people a chance that really want to be involved with me. I want to give them that contact. So it's just like a conversation, Tina. If I were sitting across from you and we were having coffee somewhere, and I asked, I kind of hit on a subject, and I watch cues from you, and I ask you whether you want to talk about that or not. And if I get certain cues, I just don't go down that path. And then I go down some other path that I think that you might be interested in. It's exactly like sitting across from somebody with a cup of coffee. And that's how I tell people to think of it. This is not marketing 101, which is one message to many people and then see who filters back. This is one-on-one conversation that you can have at scale, because your bot will deliver 24 hours a day. So yeah, I mean, it's an interesting concept. And I think that I was just talking to a lady yesterday that, she wrote, a question in one of the really big, groups that are forming around Facebook Messenger marketing and ManyChat and Chat Fuel and all of those kinds of things. And she just wrote a couple of sentences and kind of had a real general question. And somebody in that thread had recommended me. So I wrote this person and I said, hey, I just want to, tell you what I think the answer to your question might be, and I want to offer you some time if you'd like to chat. And so, she took me up on that, and we chatted yesterday, and she said that she'd had the experience that everybody else who had answered on the thread before me had pitched her a bot for $2,000. Right. And I was the only one that had said, listen, you can do this thing yourself. You quite have the intelligence required. If you can get on a call with me on video, on Zoom or whatever, you have all the IT knowledge that you need. You don't need a rocket science degree. You don't need a pocket protector to make this thing happen. You can make this thing happen. You can start small, get into the habit of checking in on it every day like something you care about, and build from there. You don't have to start huge. You don't have to jump on this before the crowd comes. You don't have to do any.
You've got to attract a crowd.
Yeah. Be yourself. Attract the crowd that you want.
And it's interesting to me that someone could throw a quote to you that I can build a bot for you for $2,000 when I don't even know what you do or what you need.
Right.
Well, I'm coming from the coding world, writing software for manufacturers and distributors. So that's people who manufacture things, raw materials for finished goods, and people who sell things, import from a foreign country and export to another country. And you can't say to them, right, I'll write you a program, because you can't do it unless you know what the business is. So there's a commonality there that you can't possibly quote somebody $2,000 for something that you know half of it, you don't know the other half. Beats me, which brings us on to the idea you mentioned earlier, RJ, before we came on air.
Yeah, the idea for the show that I want to do.
Yes.
Okay, I'm very excited, everyone. So buckle up. Okay, so I'm really I love Bob Ross. We explained to Stephen who Bob Ross is.
Yes, I know now.
Actually, right here on the wall behind me. I love Bob. Bob is a guy who taught thousands and thousands of people how to paint, most of them for free. But he also did have like classes that he would do and supplies that he would sell at those classes, and he became a millionaire. He's a white boy with an afro. It was the strangest thing. It was quite the phenomenon. Still is. Bob's show, little painting show. They've taken of course, the recordings and put it on YouTube. millions of views. Anyway, love this guy. Love his teaching style, because his teaching style is this. He make oil painting, which is something that everybody is like, too hard. You know, you can't do it unless you're an artist. He'd say, no, pick up a brush. I'm going to show you how to do this. You do this right alongside me, and you will show yourself that you can do this thing. I want to do a show that is teaching people how to build bots. Build right alongside with me. Here's some supplies if you want them. But you can do this for free. You can sign up for a ManyChat account for free. I'll teach you step by step how to do this thing. I want to make it accessible to people so that small business owners like myself, people who wear 17 hats, all that stuff, small business owners can have access, because I think it's going to be the biggest thing for small business owners. I don't know if big companies are going to get, I mean, they're certainly going to get something out of it, and, you know, they're going to do what they do. But I'm not going to write you a sequence that I would write for Pepsi. I'm not. You know, we have our own stuff. We have our own way of needing to attract a crowd of people around us and provide service to our people. We have our own rules, and so I wanna produce a show that teaches people how to do it yourself, how to start from scratch. Here are the concepts you need to know. Just short videos every week, and invite people to build along with me. I think that it's going to be a great thing.
And you should showcase some of the bots built by the people who are doing it along with you.
Oh yeah. So I've been watching Bob Ross for 2 days, everyone, and I've been writing down his tricks.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
I'm totally behind you on this one, because we talked earlier about people charging $2,000. It's not just the $2,000 up front before anything's been created. It's also the $750 a month to keep it going. Now, we're not going to say where that $750 goes, but it is, we call it steep in the UK. It's too high. So I'm all in favour of what you're planning, RJ.
That's awesome. Well, I will need your support, as always, Stephen Healy and Tina. I will always need the support. I'm hoping to build a little community around that, and I'm hoping to really provide people with a way in, and whether they ever pay me or not.
I expect an invitation to that Facebook group soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a pilot out this week, because I've promised my people, and so you two will get a little preview, and I would love to see what you would think about that. I've been watching. This is completely different. Are you ready for something completely different?
Of course we are.
Okay, so in my spare time, I'm a person who plays a lot of tabletop role-playing games. And I love, this is crazy, you guys, I love to craft little terrain. Oh, it's so nerdy. This is like deep nerd right over here. But I love to craft things that, you know, our people stand on, and things to look at. I used to be a prop master way back in the days, in the land before time, and I love creating things. So I've been watching these videos and you know, these terrain crafters on YouTube, and it's like, I could do that with bots. I could do that with, why am I not doing that with bots? And people have built up a little community, and that's what I crave. I crave a community. I crave to empower small business owners so that they could do this thing. They don't have to be afraid of the technology, and they don't have to be shelling out $1 billion for these things.
When you're talking about building the community, and one of the things I don't think we've mentioned is that with the bots, you can segment your audience.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you pay attention to the sequences that you have out there, what people are selecting and which pathways they're going down, then you can craft new sequences specifically for those segments, and you're going to get better results. And the results are already amazing. We're looking at 85% open rate on messenger bots, so they're already amazing. But if you're finding your niche and I won't say niche, as I did last time, and Stephen had a field day with me. But if you're crafting the sequence specific to the audience, you're going to get even better open rate because it's going to resonate with them more. And it's a lot of work, but you can do it in that 20 or 30 minutes a day that RJ is asking you to set aside. If you hire someone else out to do this, and even if you're paying them $750 a month, they're probably not segmenting and tweaking and creating new sequences. They're just maintaining the one that you have. So you better hope it's a good one.
Well, if you've got your own knowledge about your own business and you then add on top of that knowledge about how to do bots, then you're in a position to actually experiment. And the thing is, the beautiful thing I love about ManyChat as well, we've not spoken about so far, is the analytics that come with it.
Yes.
Because you can see what people do. You can see who does, well, you guys talk for a few minutes about behind the scenes on ManyChat.
Yeah, behind the scenes on ManyChat. So for me, the behind the scenes stuff is so powerful because it can notify you when people have questions. It can deliver something while people are waiting for you to answer the question. You know, normally, if you have a question for a company or whatever, you find their contact page, you email them, and then you wait, however long it's going to take, and then you get an answer and you start having a conversation over email. Okay. But the back end things on ManyChat allow it so that you can give people an opportunity to ask a question. I get a ping in my messenger and in my email immediately. Somebody has asked a question. You get to them as fast as you can. And then my bot will serve up something in an automatic way that will be, something like, hey, do you want to learn more about bots? If they say yes, they get into a sequence. If they say no, I just want to ask a question, then I have a little message that comes up that says, super cool, RJ will be along as soon as she can, and enjoy the day. I can't remember exactly word for word what it is, but back end allows me to see what route they take and make choices based on what routes people are taking. As Tina was saying, it allows me to personalize the message. So I've got an opening sequence that one of them asks you what you do for a living. Depending on what you say there, the sequence that you get is personalized toward what that industry is. Of course it is. I'm not talking to a bot. I'm using a bot to talk to a human. And that's the most important thing to remember, is that this is not the days of megaphones and shouting into them and getting a few people to filter back to you. This is the days of conversation marketing, talking to people one at a time, personal conversations with people, and then seeing what happens after that. It's a whole new Wild West.
It is.
You get to learn what people don't know too. You pay attention to the questions that are being asked, and where you lose people, then you figure out what it is that may lead to a whole other product, because you figured out, well, people don't understand this, and so I need to pull this piece out and do something that explains this. And I think if you're not paying attention to the analytics and to the bot sequences and what's happening there, you're missing huge opportunities.
Oh, that's no way to live. That's no way to put time and love into a bot. If you're going to put time and love into a bot, look at your analytics, see where the holes in people's understanding are, and fill those. I tell my people, it's the Disneyland experience, where you are taken care of. From the moment you buy your ticket, someone is thinking around corners for you, anticipating your problems, and being there to answer your needs. That's the experience you want to create in your bot.
Something I didn't do, and have really just been really recently that I've started to do this. When we get questions through Facebook Messenger or email or whatever, I've started to create question banks so we can have frequently asked question, document, video, whatever we decide to do somewhere. for people. So if you do get that ping that, hey, somebody's got a question, one of the things that you can send them is a link to go to that frequently asked question. Maybe there are questions answered and you've saved yourself, from answering that same question for the 520th time this week. So if you don't do that, and I'm not like super organized by nature. My husband's trained me to be more organized and think about, well, I've done this 14 times now. What can I do so I don't have to do it 15 times? And part of that is just paying attention. Have I heard this question more than once? Yes, I have. So let me write that down and put that answer somewhere where people can access it.
Yeah. Perfect way to think about it. Yep.
Well, we've come to the top of the hour, which has just flown by.
Again, Stephen Healy. This always happens to us.
It does. Well, magic. Tina, over to you.
I don't know. I feel rusty. I feel like it's been a long time since I've been on here because I've been so busy, and we got cut off last week. We didn't have a show. We started it and it got cut off, and we just kind of didn't go anywhere from there. So you can find us here, Stephen and I, on Tuesdays. Stephen's here a lot more than I am. RJ, please let people know where they can find you.
BlackBeltBots.com, everybody. Go there. I've got goodies for you under the shop page, the essential sequence, the essential equipment. I've got free stuff for you. Get in there, claim some stuff for yourself. Ping me, let me know who you are. I would love to know you. My bot is also right there, front and center. Let's talk. Let's have a conversation. I would love to. And also, I do live stream from the Black Belt Bots page, 1 o'clock Central Standard Time, Tuesdays and Thursdays. And there will likely be another show here in the future because I am that excited about DIY bot building. So that's where to find me, my friends.
Brilliant. It's always great to catch up. And yes, I think we can all say there will be another show in March when the three of us get together again. Yes. To everybody who's watched, thank you. It's always great when the three of us get together, and we look forward to seeing you all again in March. We'll look forward to talking to you before then. Thank you for watching. Take care, everybody, and I'm going to end the stream with away from everybody, and take care for now. And we are